If you answer yes to all 7 questions, then you should go retire. That's what today's video is going to be all about. Now, the real risk is that you retire early and go, I should have worked 1 more year, 2 more years, so I was actually in a good spot. But there's another real risk, which is what if you're 80 with $5 million going, hey, I've got plenty of money now, but it's not worth as much. I wish I spent more time with family or with friends or prioritizing my health because my job is so stressful. I want you to know the earliest time in early retirement is feasible so you don't run the risk of running out of money without working too long and regretting that side as well. Now, this is a common question I'm asked. This comes from Rolando Sufrain, 7957, who says, what is considered an early retirement? Is that anything before full retirement for Social Security? Is it 67? I'd say anytime before 59 and a half due to early distribution, but opinions differ. There's no perfect term for early retirement. I call early retirement before 65. Generally, it's when you realize, hey, am I working because I want to or because I have to? And some of my clients don't actually stop working when they find out they can. They go, really good to know I am working because I want to, not because I have to. I have some clients that work even longer when they find out they can retire earlier because they thought they hated their job, but it turns out they don't. They were just miserable because they thought they had to be there. In reality, they liked their job. It was the finances that was taking a toll. Now we're going to go in order. So the first question is going to be the easiest and the 7th question is going to be the hardest. So if you do answer yes to all of these, then you don't have technically my green light to retire, but you should certainly consider it. Now, please know when I'm doing planning for clients, we're going in depth with investments and taxes and insurance and estate and lots of different things. This video is for educational and information purposes only. Please do consult with a financial advisor, a tax professional, or a legal professional if you are actually seeking guidance. Question number 1, the question to ask yourself, do you have income to replace your paycheck? I don't believe you need $1 million to retire. I don't believe you need 2 million or 5 million. You need to replace your paycheck. If you have a pension that covers all of your needs and you have $0 in your investment account, you could retire. If you have $5 million and you want to spend $100,000 every single month, you're probably going to run out of money pretty soon. So it's about replacing your income, not about if you have $1 million or 2 million or 5 million or 20 million. You can see I even did a video here of a couple that has 20 million and they're worried. Now, some of you are like, what are they worrying about? But they want to spend a lot of money. So ask yourself, do you have the means to replace your income? If the answer is yes to that, question 2 is, what are your specific legacy goals? Look at this example. Now, this software I use, this is available. So if you want to play around with this tool, go to the description below. Here's a couple. They're 55. They've got $2.7 million. They're on track for $8.3 million. Is that your goal? If your goal is to pass away with $10 million, then no, you should not go retire, because you want to give $5 million to 2 children. If your goal is to maybe die with closer to 0 than $9 million or $8 million, you're probably in a better spot to consider an early retirement. Question 3, is all of your money in a concentrated part of the market? Let me give you a good example. So this couple comes to me. I'm going to show you an example. This was their 401k right here on the left. They've got a T. Rowe Price fund, a Clear Bridge fund, a BlackRock fund. We're going to go through every single part of, no, we're not going to do that. I'm not going to put you to sleep. But you can see they have different investments. Now, I said, what if you just use Vanguard? Low cost alternative. And they're like, Ari, I don't think I can do that because it's in my 401k. And I told them, when you're over 59 and a half, you can move your money, even if you're still working, into an IRA and invest in whatever you want. And they're like, Fidelity didn't tell me that. I go, they're not going to. So the point here is they thought they were diversified. They're like, Ari, I've got some stocks. I got a little bit of bonds. I've got some cash. I said, you're not diversified. And beyond that, the bigger issue is 95% of your money is in North America. So North America has done really well, but there was a period where it did not do well. So my concern for all of you is if all of your money was in the US or North America, you can see from 2000 to 2010, it was the 4th worst performing asset. So the risk is you spend too much when you have healthcare costs and travel and you're doing a home remodel, and now markets are doing poorly. Well, that's a big risk. Now you could get lucky. And the US from this time period, 2010 to 2019, was the 2nd best performer. So rather than us hoping we get lucky, I'd rather us say, okay, Let's build a diverse portfolio that is actually mimicking what our goal is, which is lifetime income. The fourth question is, what the heck are you going to do for healthcare? Because some of you recognize, and you've seen my other videos here where I discuss healthcare in depth, some of you are like, hey, that's a big cost. I'm not going to retire early because of that. I'm going to wait. Maybe I retire at 65 because then Medicare kicks in. And I'll tell clients, you're cheating yourself. They're like, what do you mean? And I say, look, I joke that I'm the meanest advisor. I'm not actually mean. At least I don't think so. I just try to be transparent. But I want you to know that I have clients spending $50 a month on healthcare. And I have clients spending $1,500 a month on healthcare. And sometimes this client is happier. Why? Well, they're doing some tax strategy that's going to save them north of $18,000 a year, where it's worth intentionally giving up a healthcare subsidy in exchange for what might yield them way more money. Let's look at this case as an example. Here's a couple, 2.7 million bucks, 55 years old. And they're like, Ari, you talk about this tax strategy and you just get so hyped on tax strategy and tax and tax. I go, yeah, because it can make a big difference. It could be $500,000 more dollars. But we need to connect that. So this is what you're seeing on my screen, Roth conversions and harvesting and these different strategies to, wait a second, what if I do healthcare subsidies instead? We want to understand what's going to put more money in our pocket. So that next question is, what is your plan for healthcare? If you have a good strategy that shows you with healthcare costs, you're still nowhere going to come close to running out of money, then great. The next question to ask yourself is, what if you are the most unlucky investor? What if you just get unlucky and you retire and markets go down and tax brackets shoot up and you're just unlucky? You retire, it was 35 years at one company and you just get unlucky. Look at this. This is called my unlucky test. So before I give a green light to a client to retire early, I'll say, what if you get unlucky and markets go down and Social Security gets reduced and inflation goes up and returns are lower than you expect? You live till 150. Healthcare goes up. No, not 150, but you live till 95 and tax brackets go up. What if you knew that if you were the most unlucky investor, you still wouldn't run the risk of running out of money? You might go, why the heck am I working? You might go, well, if I work 3 more years, that would protect any unlucky chances. Well, I'm going to work 2 more years. I'm going to work 4 more years because I'd feel better about that. Asking yourself, where are you in relation to your unlucky test from a confidence perspective? Once again, get lots of questions about this. All of this and more, this software tool that I keep showing inside of the Academy, if you want to run your own projections and see where you're at in terms of conversions and tax and insurance and umbrella and all that good stuff. I'd argue the biggest one, and I thought about putting this first, is what are you going to do? That's right. Many of you have worked a job for many years and you're like, I don't know what the heck I'm going to do. Is my spouse going to like me? I've been gone for 30 years. Others of you guys are like, hey, I just need the laundry list. I've got it right here. Oh, yep. I'm going to pickleball. I'm going to hang with family and friends and go to the gym. And you're like, look, I just financially need to make sure I'm good to go. Great. Others of you do not know what the heck you're going to do, and it's very normal. And I want to make sure you're thinking through, what are you retiring from? And what are you retiring to? Are you retiring from a boss? And because you hate the boss, you're going to go retire? Well, we don't have a retire to. Are you retiring from the politics of work, retiring to more time with your family and spouse? Great. Do we have 3 kids in college? Ooh, maybe this isn't the right time to retire because we can't really travel with the family. Maybe do the first few years with the spouse. Let's think through, what does a successful retirement to you mean? And then the last, and I'd argue biggest question, what do you want to do in retirement from a financial perspective? I'll give you an example. Someone came to me. They said, I'm retired. I said, I don't believe you. They're like, well, you're nuts. You don't sleep next to me. How the heck would you know? I go, yeah, I just don't think so. They're like, well, you've got a lot of attitude, kid. I'm like, relax. I'm just messing around. I know you're retired. I think you're a coordinator, though. They go, what do you mean? I go, yeah, I bet if you ask any financial representative, your rep at Vanguard right now or Fidelity, what taxes should do in terms of what planning you should do, they're going to tell you to talk to your CPA. And your CPA, you'll go ask them, and they'll say, yeah, that's a financial question. Go talk to your advisor. And you're going to be a middleman in retirement. Then you're going to go to your advisor and go, look, I've got healthcare questions. And they're going to refer you to a healthcare person. And then your financial advisor is going to refer you to an estate attorney to get the documents and the trust and the will and the medical directives and how much should we give to kids? What about the 529 plans? And they're like, yeah, isn't that how this works? I go, no. That's the job of a financial advisor. Their job is to do holistic planning as opposed to simply, you should rebalance or you should invest well for lifetime income. You need someone that, if you don't want to do this in retirement, is going to offer holistic planning designed for an early retirement. If you're like, look, I like doing this and it doesn't bother me, and at this point, I'm going to have a lot of time on my hands when I retire and I kind of want to do this. I'm like, great, like don't pay me. I want you to hire an advisor when you go, wow, this is going to add to my quality of life because I don't want to have to do this. I want there to be clear financial value, but greater than that, I am paying for my time because I don't want to spend time in retirement reading tax law, staying up to date on if I should be doing conversions or estate strategies or gifting or retirement changes, or whatever it is. Most people are paying us to go, I don't want to worry about this anymore, but I want to be involved. I want to be part of the discussion. So that is all of the questions that I wanted to go through for those early retirement. Am I in a good spot? Should I retire? If you answered yes to all of those, you're like, I have a holistic financial advisor. I have a plan to retire. If I'm unlucky, I'm good to go. I know exactly what I'm going to do in retirement. Great. You might be in a great spot to go retire. If you're like, one or two of those, I haven't run the stress testing, or you know what, I don't have an advisor, but I also don't want to do this. Well, you could, of course, still retire. It's not me saying you can't. It's just these are the questions I go through with a lot of my clients if they want to have confidence and that they retire early, correct the first time. Because trust me, you don't want to retire and then go, I should have worked another year. I should have worked 2 more years. I want you to retire with confidence. So I love, just going to highlight this comment from Susan, who says, I've had access to the academy for over 24 hours and I'm thrilled with how much my husband and I have learned. The only problem is I totally ignored work today so I could play in it. So don't go get fired and don't go tell your boss that I'm the reason that you didn't show up to work that day. Guys, no matter where you're at in your stage of life, I just want you to know when work becomes optional. If this was helpful, please do like it. Please do share it. Please comment on what you're looking for from future videos. I love getting to do this. I'll see you next time.